Okay. Well, I'm reminded of a story in my growth as a parent. I was a step parent first, and I was a harsh step parent that I look back on with great regret, and then had a son of my own that I discovered, holy mackerel, I really want to treat this fella differently, and I want to treat my stepsons differently now. I realize that my then wife felt differently toward her boys than I did. And I had that feeling now for my son. And so I began looking into ways to be different, among other things, to get rid of knee-jerk, really angry reactions to just stuff that happens in growing up. I recently was talking with my now grown son and recalling when he would spend time with me, which was several days a week, I used to make him a bowl of oatmeal every morning and hand it to him in bed. And he would sit there and eat his, oatmeal with raisins or strawberries or something in it. And that worked flawlessly for 2 years. And then one morning, I handed him the oatmeal, and then he changed his position while holding the bowl, and it slipped out of his hand and flipped upside down on the comforter on top of his bed. And as I watched that, I thought, and went through this little loop of, oh my God, you shouldn't have moved. I didn't say anything, and then realized, we've been doing this several days a week for 2 years without incident. And so what I said was, well, I'll get you another bowl and we'll clean up the comforter. So he picked up most of the mess on the comforter, and I later in the day washed it. But I didn't get excited. And so when I was talking with him recently, I said, do you remember this moment? Hoping he'd remember the moment when I was the swell dad that didn't get excited about dumping the cereal. And he says, no. Gee, I don't remember that, Dad. Which disappointed me. He says, but what I do remember is that we were out one night, and we were out kind of late on the street, and this guy across the street from us turned and said to you, hey man, have you got some money? And he started crossing over toward us, and you said, stop right there. I have nothing for you. Don't come over here. Go away, or I don't want any trouble, but go away. And that man muttered and grumbled and turned around and walked away. And that I remember, because you stopped him in his tracks in the middle of the street, and he walked away. And I thought, okay, if he's not going to remember me being the swell dad who didn't get upset about cereal on the bed, it's kind of nice to be remembered for being the dad who took control of a potentially dangerous situation and protected him. So, all worked out. It was very cool.